Tonight, grief and shock in a Toronto neighborhood after a woman was killed by a stray bullet.
It's a terrible thought to think wrong place at the wrong time.
A mom of two shot in broad daylight while grabbing lunch. The gunman still on the run. A rare Canadian win on the Tour de France.
I'm on cloud 9 right now.
His surprising road to success. And Canada's most famous drag queen on the moment that changed everything.
Never fear, the Queen of the North is here.
Plus his response to the protest aimed at the queer community.
You don't have to like us, you don't have to agree with us, but you have to respect us.
My conversation with Brock Hayhoe, better known as Brooke Lynne Hytes.
This is The National with Ian Hennemansi.
It is a murder that's left many in the city of Toronto shaken. A mother of two out to get lunch, an innocent bystander shot and killed. These are the people police are looking for. Their pictures released 2 days after the fatal shooting. The victim identified as 44-year-old Carolina Huebner-Makurat. As Jamie Strachan tells us, police say she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
In bustling Toronto, few things make people stop and pause. But this random act of violence has resonated deeply in this East End neighborhood and across the city.
And this is our neighborhood, and we walk along here pretty much every day. So it's, what can you say? It's not something you ever think would happen nearby, but it can happen anywhere, right? Big city. It's terrible.
And you can tell, obviously, the neighborhood's affected. People are putting their flowers out, and, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. It's just, I can't believe it.
The tributes to Carolina Huebner-Makurat continue to grow. In a social media post, her husband Adrian called Friday a tragic day, adding, "Life is short. Hug your loved ones every moment you get the chance." On Friday afternoon, the 44-year-old mother of two was out walking, picking up lunch, when she was struck and killed by a stray bullet, unwittingly stepping into the crosshairs of an altercation she had nothing to do with. Experts say these type of shootings are extremely rare.
Very uncommon, but disastrous when they happen. And they are always a risk when people are shooting each other with handguns. Handguns are not easy to direct.
Police have now released photos of the three suspects who they say had a physical altercation before taking out guns and shooting at each other.
We are making an appeal to the public. As you know, this was a Friday afternoon on Queen Street East, a very busy neighborhood, commuters, pedestrians.
They don't care. You know, it seems like whatever's going on, they just don't care.
On the GoFundMe set up to support the family, Huebner-Makurat was remembered as a kind soul always eager to lend a helping hand, and a shining light in the lives of her two beautiful daughters, aged 7 and 4. So far, more than $100,000 has been raised.
You know, it's a terrible thought to think wrong place at the wrong time, right? It can happen to anybody.
Jamie Strachan, CBC News, Toronto.
Some scary moments for people at Montreal's Trudeau Airport after a fire on the tarmac. According to an airport spokesperson, it started in the engine of a vehicle, stopped underneath the plane, and was under control within half an hour. There were reportedly no injuries and no flight delays. Meanwhile, at the same airport, a baggage worker seriously injured yesterday has died. He fell while trying to pull a stuck suitcase from baggage handling equipment. The incident is being investigated. U.S. President Joe Biden arrived in London tonight to meet with King Charles and the UK Prime Minister, but the centerpiece of his foreign trip is Tuesday's NATO summit in Lithuania. Ukraine is seeking membership in the alliance while it resists Russia's invasion. And as Katie Simpson explains, for Biden, that's exactly the problem.
On the Eastern Front near Bakhmut, Ukraine's military says this push helped its soldiers liberate another square kilometer of territory. The counteroffensive grinds on steady but slow, adding to the urgency of President Volodymyr Zelensky's pleas for more help. This year, he says, we must do everything to start negotiations on Ukraine's future membership in the EU. The same applies to NATO. Zelensky's demand is front and center ahead of this week's NATO meeting. But the U.S. is soundly rejecting Ukraine's request.
I don't think it's ready for membership in NATO. But
President Joe Biden says Ukraine can't join NATO until the war is over. Otherwise, he says the conflict would expand based on the founding NATO principle that an attack on one is an attack on all.
If the war is going on, then we're all in the war. You know, we're at war with Russia if that were the case.
Biden hopes Ukraine's disappointment will be somewhat tempered by his controversial decision to send cluster munitions to the front lines. When fired, they release small bombs that can explode years later, posing a risk to civilians. Canada doesn't support their use, neither does the UK.
The UK is signatory to a convention which prohibits the production or use of cluster munitions and discourages their use. We will continue to do our part to support Ukraine.
Biden will discuss this with the British Prime Minister. He landed in London for meetings ahead of the NATO summit. He's expected to pass along assurances from Ukraine that the weapons won't be used in civilian areas, and Ukraine's claims they aren't nearly as brutal as Russian tactics.
There is nothing worse than tortures, rapes, and everything that Russians do on the territories they occupy, and we need to liberate as quick as possible.
And Katie, there's another country looking to join NATO that Biden is concerned about.
Yeah, at this moment, it's unclear what's going to happen with Sweden. Turkey is still not ready to grant approval. On a phone call, President Erdogan told President Biden that Sweden is taking some steps in the right direction with changes to its anti-terrorism legislation. Turkey has long accused Sweden of being too lenient with certain terrorist organizations that are banned in Turkey. Biden and Erdogan will chat again in person on the sidelines of the summit. Washington wants to get this done as quickly as possible. Ian.
All right, thank you. Tonight, the Prime Minister is on a flight to Riga for that NATO summit. Our Evan Dyer is traveling with him, and just before their plane took off, he took us through the issues Trudeau is taking there, including the issue of cluster bombs.
As Katie mentioned, this is the first time that Canada has objected to any arms transfer by an ally to Ukraine, but it's not really surprising that Canada would take that stand because Canada is more than just a signatory to the cluster munitions ban. In fact, it was one of the forces behind it. The 2008 Oslo Treaty that banned cluster bombs is really an outgrowth of an earlier Ottawa landmine ban treaty that was a landmark achievement of a previous Liberal government. In the end, though, this transfer is very likely to go through. Now, another issue that we're expecting to hear about at the summit is about money, and there are indications that Canada is going to feel renewed pressure to finally live up to the commitment that it made at the NATO summit in Wales in 2014 that commits it to spend at least 2% of its gross domestic product on defense. Right now, Canada is really bringing up the rear among the larger countries, the larger members of NATO. Many smaller countries also failed to meet that target. But of the 6 G7 countries that are also members of NATO, Canada is in 6th place with only 1.29% of its GDP currently going to defense. Since it's been 10 years since that summit, Canada can point to some progress in the early years, but stalled really in its movement towards that target around the year 2017. So what we're expecting to see is that countries that already meet and exceed the 2% spending mark, countries like the United States and the United Kingdom, will be putting pressure on Canada to at least resume movement in the right direction. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
In London, the BBC has taken an unnamed male TV host off the air over disturbing allegations. The Sun newspaper first reported that a well-known broadcaster had paid tens of thousands of dollars for photos of a sexual nature from a youth who was just 17 when it started. It's alleged it went on for 3 years. The family told the newspaper it initially complained to the BBC in May. The BBC says it's taking the allegations seriously. Neither the broadcaster nor the youth have been named. Back in Canada, where millions are dealing with extreme heat, parts of 6 provinces are currently under heat warnings, along with Yukon and the Northwest Territories. That warning means temperatures that can surpass 30 degrees without humidity. There are elevated health risks, especially for people with pre-existing conditions. Those high temperatures are particularly problematic as Canada continues its historic wildfire season. In British Columbia, these water bombers are working to fight a fire in the northwest near Smithers, and BC isn't alone. Here's a snapshot of the situation across the country. Hundreds of wildfires in nearly every province and territory. In his last report, the Emergency Preparedness Minister, Bill Blair, said 339 are still burning out of control. Many of those fires aren't just out of control, they're fiercer and more difficult to extinguish than ever before. As Madeline Cummings shows us, that's taking a heavy toll on first responders.
Every fire is different.
Harold Cardinal has been fighting wildfires in Alberta since he was 17. Over the past 30 years, he's seen the season get longer and the fires become scarier.
They're intense. Even the heat, you're standing away from, say, 200, 100 meters. You still feel the heat now, not like before.
The growing size and the spread of these wildfires, firefighters say, are adding to the trauma.
This job is very, very demanding. It's very stressful and it's very dangerous. So you go ahead and compile all those three different elements into one job. It can do a number on the mental well-being on any person, regardless of how strong they are.
This record-breaking season especially has been tough on people, and it's not over yet.
We've experienced what we usually experience in a year in 2 months already.
That toll being felt on wildland firefighters across the country.
I'm glad that you reached out.
The Tema Foundation, a nonprofit focused on first responders, was on the front lines of the fires in Nova Scotia. Immediately, it stepped up, offering free crisis counseling.
We know that it's very difficult for first responders to ask for help, to accept help. Their attitude is, this is our job.
This season has been unique.
Steve Lemon says after seeing so many staff struggle following the 2018 BC wildfire season, his province took action, offering more counseling, peer support programs, and specialized mental health training. It even increased the number of days off between successive deployments to fight long-term fatigue.
It will cause pressures on resourcing, and we know that. But we're really kind of focused on trying to maintain the health of our people that way.
As wildfires worsen, the need for firefighters who are experienced and resilient is more important than ever. Madeline Cummings, CBC News, Edmonton.
In BC, talks have now resumed in a province-wide port workers' strike. Around 7,400 workers walked off the job on Canada Day. Today, a rally was held to support them. It included labor leaders from Australia and the United States, along with the BC Federation of Labor.
We are going to stand with you in solidarity every single step of the way, and we are going to fight this government if they try and legislate you back to work, because no damn way!
Some business groups are calling on Ottawa to step in with back-to-work legislation. The federal labor minister has repeatedly said he wants both sides to negotiate. They returned to the bargaining table yesterday. A Canadian cyclist is celebrating a rare win tonight, first place on a stage of the Tour de France. And Michael Woods did it in dramatic fashion. Susanna De Silva shows the unlikely road he took to get today's victory.
And now he's going to go past Michael Woods.
A historic win at a historic spot of the Tour de France.
And Michael Woods now goes for the stage win for Canada.
This steep finish perfect for Ottawa's Michael Woods to become the third Canadian to win a stage.
Proud, really happy. Yeah, I'm on cloud nine right now.
Woods' career has also been a tough climb. He initially wanted to be a hockey player, then found running, setting 2 national Canadian junior records, until injuries sidelined him.
Working at a running shoe store in Ottawa, and also working in a bank, and not really sure what I was going to do with my life. But my parents were really great and bought me a bike, and I started just riding a bike just to stay in shape and maintain my mental sanity.
Eventually, he landed with his current cycling team, co-owned by Canadian company Premier Tech, and that brought him here, a volcanic crater not used for the Tour in 35 years. That same year was the first time a Canadian won a stage, and Canada's first winner, Steve Bauer, is now Woods' coach and helped him make up a 2-minute gap to catch the leader over the last 4 kilometers of the race.
He's extremely good climber, but when it's very steep, as it was, on the volcano of Puy de Dôme, that's really his forte.
Last year, teammate Ugo Uhl also won a stage, the first time in decades for a Canadian, and Bauer says victories like these can only help the sport grow in Canada.
And now we're going to do it every year. So he's picked one off already. So we're going to, every 12 months, a Canadian should win a bike race now.
Luckily for Woods, Monday is a rest day.
We'll have some nice champagne tonight and get back at it.
Before he tackles a final 12 stages, he's well back of the leader, but still hopes to cross another finish line first. Susanna De Silva, CBC News, Vancouver.
Canada Soccer has named the 23 women who will represent the country in the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. Headlining that list, Christine Sinclair. The superstar captain will be making her 6th appearance at the tournament at the age of 40. While Sinclair was viewed by many as a lock, there was also a surprise that a rising star won't soon forget.
Hey Liv, how are you doing?
This is Olivia Smith, settling in for what seemed like a quick chat about her progress in training. At just 18 years old, she was a late addition to Canada's pre-tournament camp. A long shot, but in just one moment, all of that changed.
This might come as a bit of a shock to you, but you're going to the World Cup. Stop. You are, yeah.
Smith has only played for Canada's senior team twice, and now an opportunity of a lifetime.
I want to reward all your hard work. You've come in, you've fit in really, really well, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be in the 23. So.
As part of the roster, there's plenty of hard work left and aspirations to help take a team that is the reigning Olympic champion and get them on the podium on an even bigger stage. But for now, some time to take it all in.
Massive well done. All right, so now you got to call your family and tell them.
Well done, congratulations.
The World Cup kicks off later this month in Australia and New Zealand. Nice moment. Some cities in Ontario are proving affordable homes can also be green.
They're saving everything. They're saving money, they're saving the planet.
How new buildings are using less energy. Brooke Lynne Hytes tells me what it took to become the Queen of the North.
But I wonder if the moment that changed everything for your life was RuPaul's Drag Race.
Incorrect.
Okay, yes.
Wow! And the 10-year-old whose tricks are taking her to the X Games.
I've been told I started when I was 4.
We're back in 2. Across Canada, social housing projects are being developed to get people off the streets and into homes. But they also serve as models for building green. Some of them meet what's called the passive house standard, which means they use minimal energy for heating and cooling. Emily Chung shows us how it's working.
So this is the sunflower that I'm growing.
Daniel Bentham's rent is less than $600 a month, but his supportive housing building is also a model for how to build green.
What's really nice is the heat pump up here. It allows for heat in the winter and cool air in the summer. And when I close the windows, you don't hear noise outside.
45 units above a church that offers extra supports, and so energy efficient, it's a certified passive house.
Having the cooling and heating under precise control puts you at less risk for heat-related illnesses and challenges that can be associated with mental health challenges.
Every public investment should achieve more than one end. So how do we make sure that we're achieving climate goals or achieving equitable goals at the same time as building housing?
Going green is a trend among affordable housing providers. 10 families have just moved into this building, phase 2 of a complex in southwestern Ontario, made with engineered wood.
We could build it quickly because we had families in motels for years.
Not just fast to build, but green.
So are these all 2-bedroom units?
Yes.
Chalu says one new resident was so overwhelmed by the site, she couldn't even step inside.
She just couldn't believe that it would be hers. Just seeing how beautiful everything was designed. The material is of such quality. The exposed wood. Yeah, I'll try not to get emotional about it.
A few hours away, City Housing Hamilton is assembling a modular building that meets passive house energy standards. The rent for each unit will be as low as $85 a month.
Yeah, a selection of the folks who will move into this building will be homeless. Others will be precariously housed.
City Housing Hamilton has even retrofitted one of its high-rise towers, showing older buildings can go green too.
Reusing the buildings we have is just critically important for a whole bunch of reasons, and climate change is a big one.
For tenants, climate-friendly features mean a comfortable home and affordable energy bills.
They're saving everything. They're saving money, they're saving the planet.
Both Indwell and City Housing Hamilton are building new green homes as we speak for those who need them. Emily Chung, CBC News, Hamilton.
The World Wildlife Fund is pushing for Canadians to bring more trees back to their cities as a way to combat climate change. It's even identified the parts of urban Canada where this could do the most good. Inayat Singh shows us the work that's going into this.
Step on it. In a riverside park surrounded by suburban homes, tree planting volunteers are laying the groundwork for a greener future.
And in 10 to 15 years, they should grow up to 20, 30, even 50 feet, and it should look like a nice, thriving forest.
By restoring trees to this once barren part of the park, they're shoring up defenses against the impacts of climate change for the millions of people who live in nearby Toronto.
So what this does, essentially, is these trees, they absorb the water, and that kind of prevents floods from happening as often.
And the small efforts here may have a big impact, according to a new study.
We identified as much as, I believe, 3.9 million hectares of these areas of optimal importance for active restoration across the country.
New research from the World Wildlife Fund looked at the best places in Canada to restore nature. At the top of the list, southern Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, hotspots for biodiversity, especially endangered species.
It's not only those people that live directly adjacent to those areas that benefit from having those natural areas, but more broadly, the people that live, throughout the region.
It's all part of Canada's role in brokering a historic agreement in Montreal last December, where countries agreed to halt biodiversity loss. Restoration keeps planet-warming CO2 from entering the atmosphere by locking up more carbon in plants and soils. And it protects biodiversity by providing habitats for more species. Back at the Rouge event, the goal was to give people a local, personal way to save nature.
I think people get to feel a little bit more resilient. They feel like they're actually taking steps. Their little piece in that big puzzle is starting to take action.
The federal government is holding consultations on a plan to fight biodiversity loss. The solution could lie right where Canadians live, one tree at a time. Inayat Singh, CBC News, Toronto.
A Canadian was propelled into the spotlight thanks to RuPaul.
Hi, Queens! Hi!
Brooke Lynne Hytes' rise to fame.
I felt so brave, and I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
And the politics of drag.
Queer people are exhausted. We just want to be able to exist.
A diabetes drug is being hyped as a new weight loss miracle.
My goal weight is 135 pounds.
But some say user beware.
I can understand why people want to believe that there's a quick and easy solution, but it's not there.
The National takes you deeper into the stories shaping our world. Next. Her fans know her as the Queen of the North. Brooke Lynne Hytes, the most famous face of drag in Canada. Brooke Lynne Hytes rose to prominence on the 11th season of RuPaul's Drag Race, breaking new ground for Canadians.
It's amazing to be the first Canadian drag queen on the show. Like, I have the pressure of the f***ing North on my shoulders.
After finishing as the runner-up that season, Brooke Lynne Hytes became the host of Canada's Drag Race.
Hi, Queens! Hi!
Offstage, Brooke Lynne is actually Brock Hayhoe. He grew up in Toronto in an ultra-conservative, deeply religious family. A kid who loved to dance and went on to train at Canada's National Ballet School. But Brock's life was transformed when he discovered drag, now fulfilling a dream with a larger-than-life alter ego, Brooke Lynne Hytes.
You have a lot of fans, and they'll be thrilled to watch this interview, but there are also some people who maybe haven't seen your performances before. What is it about being a drag queen that you love?
Oh, everything. I'm a very, I don't like to be told what to do. And so it gives me the opportunity to be my own boss, and I'm in complete artistic control of whatever I want to do. So I think that's what a lot of drag performers like, is that they get to express themselves. It's a form of freedom. They get to create this character and get to live out their wildest fantasies.
I have a lot more questions about your performances and also about the politics of drag these days. But before we get there, let's go way back and tell me about your childhood.
My childhood. Well, I was raised in Etobicoke, Toronto. I'm the youngest of 4. My parents were very Christian. They had a very Christian upbringing. And there's not really a lot of artistic people in my family in the way that I am. So it was hard. I was just different, you know? Like, I really stuck out like a sore thumb. I loved playing with dolls. I was effeminate, all of these things. And I felt a lot of shame, and I was shamed a lot. And I remember very specifically one time we were at my grandmother's house and we were playing dress up or some play or something. And I remember my aunt grabbing me and goes, "You were a boy, you were not a girl." And I just was like, and that always stuck with me.
Then there's the moment where you came out, I guess, first to your mom. What was that like?
It was fine. I mean, at that point I was like, it's been 18 years. Like, you've been with me for 18 years. You have to have some inkling. And I'm sure she did. But we were in the kitchen and we were looking at the Toronto Star, and there was a picture of 2 men in silver booty shorts and angel wings kissing. And we were talking about pride, and I knew it was coming. We were just kind of like progressing to the question. And she was very quietly, she was like, "So do you think you're gay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And then she started crying a little bit, and I like hugged her. I was like, "Mom, it's fine." Like, and obviously, like, this cannot be a surprise to you. Like, there's no possible way this can be a surprise to anybody in my family. So it was nice to just say it and get it out there finally, because I feel like it had been brewing for so long. It was a nice release.
So you're dealing with that, but then you're in a city with where we are right now, the Gay Village.
Yeah.
And it must have felt so liberating to be able to be here and walk up and down Church Street.
Yeah, it was great. I remember the first time I ever did drag. I was living in an apartment just across from O'Grady's, like a half a block up from here. And I'll never forget the feeling of walking out of my little studio apartment in my jeans and heels, no wig on, by the way, and walking out the door and everyone looking at me, and walking down the street and walking into this bar. And I just felt like this rush. I was like, I felt so brave, and I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
So the reason we're here, the reason we came to Cruise and Tango, is that very stage is where Brooke Lynne Hytes was born.
And it still smells the same. It really does. Gosh. Yeah, I think it was 2012, and I was right back in that dressing room right there, and I was getting ready. But I just felt so free, and I felt accepted, and I just felt I was buzzing with electricity and adrenaline, and it was such a great feeling. And then she said, "Please welcome to the stage my newest drag daughter, Brooke Lynne Hytes." And I looked at the other drag queen, I was like, and she's like, "Girl, that's you." And I was like, "Oh, party!" I just went on stage and did my thing, and that's how I was born.
So there are a lot of key points in your career, and obviously being, Brooke Lynne Hytes being created on this stage is one of them. But I wonder if the moment that changed everything for your life was RuPaul's Drag Race.
Incorrect. The moment actually came before that.
Okay.
The moment that really changed the course of everything was when I won Miss Continental. That's probably the biggest female impersonation pageant in the world. And it's like the creme de la creme. It's like the best thing before RuPaul's Drag Race. It was the biggest thing you could win, and I won. And that's what really changed everything for me. That's what really got me on the drag map.
Let's bring out your new winner, 13, Brooke Lynne Hytes. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Continental, Brooke Lynne Hytes.
Queen of the North is here.
Is she international?
It was a big moment, yes. It's the biggest platform in the world for drag. It's a global platform. And that was the real game changer that really like kind of put me on a different level.
And you literally wowed the judges.
Brooke Lynne Hytes.
All right, Pam Queer. Oh,
So I came out and I walked down the runway and I flipped the poncho up. I basically flipped it over my head and the wig came off at the same time. It was this really cool reveal. And I'll never forget it. It's ingrained in my head forever. And I walked and Ruth just went, and all the judges were just like gagging.
Guess blondes really do have more fun.
Oh, yes. She went from Crooklyn to Brooklyn.
I mean, just watching you tell this story, I feel like you were, maybe still are, living the dream.
Absolutely. I can't believe it. I'm so grateful for what I get to do. Like, it makes me a little bit teary because I can't believe like I get to wake up every day and this is my life. And it's hard sometimes. Like, I struggle with anxiety and it's a constant. I think a lot of entertainers can relate to this. It's like there's no stability in the entertainment industry whatsoever. And that's terrifying. But I always forget to come back to gratitude, to take a minute and just like think about what you get to do and the opportunities I've had. And like everything is really opened up for me since that show. And I'm so lucky.
Grown men in dresses with makeup reading to kids is unacceptable.
Learning about dinosaurs or slime. All are welcome here.
Letting them think that they can be a boy or a girl and thinking that this is okay. If adults want to do this at 18, it's fine. But do you think a 5 or 6-year-old need to be around this?
Let's talk about politics. I mean, this is a strange time. And so there are angry protests about drag queens who are reading at libraries, for example. It's happening in the States, but I think it's happening in Canada as well. And so as you watch that, how do you feel about it?
I'm exhausted. Queer people are exhausted. We just want to be able to exist. We just want, I don't even want to have a Pride Month. You know, like I just want to be integrated into society like a normal person and not have to have a month to remind everyone that we're queer and we're here. And if you don't want your child to go to Drag Queen Story Hour, don't take them to Drag Queen Story Hour. Let parents parent their child how they want to, and they're not hurting anybody. They're teaching them how to be well-rounded, cultured, accepting individuals. That's all it is, you know?
For somebody outside a library, whether it's in Canada or the United States, holding a sign, enraged that someone dressed like you or Brooke Lynne Hytes is in that library reading their children. If you could walk out of the library and say something to those people, what would you say?
What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What is the fear here? And why are you not okay with this, but you're okay with taking your child to Hooters? Why are you not okay with this, but allowing your children to play with guns? Like, what is the fear? I think that's what it all boils down to, the fear of not understanding, the fear of something different than you. People were saying, like, it's not age appropriate, and in a way, I believe that. Like, I believe that children should absolutely be exposed to drag in a child-friendly environment, something like Drag Queen Story Hour or like a drag brunch, because we can expose children to things without overly sexualizing things, because I believe a child's innocence is one of the most beautiful, important things. And that should be protected. And you can do that in a way where you're also exposing them to culture and teaching them about new kinds of people.
So there's a positive message, and let's finish with another heartwarming, I think, positive story, and it involves you being in Nashville and having a tough time. Maybe you were depressed.
Yeah.
And your mom and your sister getting on a plane to come down.
A car, actually.
A car. They drove down.
They drove
Wow,
down
even
14.
more impressive.
I know. They
That's
drove
a long
down.
drive.
They drove all night.
They come down to Nashville, and your mom, who cried when you came out, reached out to you in Nashville.
Yeah, it was me and my mom. We were, after I came out, we were fine. Like, it was a little bit tense, whatever, but like, we would still talk, but it was all very like polite, like small talk. Like, she never really asked me about my life or anything like that. It was just kind of like, it was hard because I just felt like I was kind of being iced out a little bit. So when I moved down to Nashville, and I forget why, I think it was a new place, and I just kind of felt lonely and I was having a hard time. And my best friend called my mom and my sister and told them that I was having a tough time, and they got in the car and they drove down, and I did a drag dinner show every Thursday, and I walked out and my mom was sitting there. And I started laughing. I was like, what are you doing here? It was like crazy. And it was just a nice, easy weekend. It was fun, and she was herself again, and just like talking to me and like asking me questions, and she was just kind of there for me, which was really nice for me. And then after she left, she wrote me a really beautiful letter, basically just apologizing for not really being there. And the most beautiful line for me was when she said, "I'm sorry I haven't loved you the way I should have," which really like was beautiful, and something I think every kid wants to hear. Oh, and the front of the card, it was a card, and it was a little boy and a little girl holding hands, and she wrote Brooke and Brock, which I thought that was the cutest thing ever. And she signed it, "Lots of love always." And after we had that moment together, I got this tattoo, and this is the actual handwriting from the letter. It says, "Lots of love always." And this is a daisy, which is her favorite flower.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a great story. Let's finish with this. For somebody who's never seen a drag performance, who watches some of the footage that they've seen in this interview and still feel like that is such a foreign world, it's such a, I can't relate to that. What would you say to them?
You don't have to relate to it. I mean, it's fun. Drag is all about joy. The purpose of drag is to spread joy and spread happiness. That's what we're here to do. So I feel like there's something in drag for everybody. And if you just go into it with an open mind and have fun, and maybe you don't like it, and that's okay, but we're still allowed to exist if you don't like it, is the whole thing. Like, you don't have to like us, you don't have to agree with us, but you have to respect us and give us the right to live our lives the way we want.
This was one of those interviews, and we've had a few this year, where the raw tape is so much longer and there's so much great stuff we had to cut. I hope there's an opportunity to put that to air at some point. And there is a slightly longer version of this interview on CBC Gem and the Explore channel. Next, the drug Ozempic is being hyped on social media as a weight loss solution, but is it truly groundbreaking?
Of course, that comes with a concern.
Health experts tell us if it really works. Next. The blockbuster drug Ozempic continues to make news this summer as online gossip swirls around which celebrity is using it to slim down. But Ozempic was designed to help those with type 2 diabetes. Here's a look Christine Burak took earlier this year at the drug's hype and its limits.
My goal weight is 135 pounds.
Between the hype on social media and the relentless TV ads, questions are swirling around this type 2 diabetes medication.
And you may lose weight.
So how well does it work for weight loss, and who should be taking it?
This is an important medication for us because it changed the entire playing field. I really like this idea.
Dr. Sean Wharton specializes in diabetes and weight management. He emphasizes obesity is a complex medical problem, not a moral failing. Aside from bariatric surgery, there's been no highly effective treatment. Wharton studied Ozempic for the drug maker. Studies funded mostly by Novo Nordisk found, in combination with a low-calorie diet and exercise, 86% of people on the drug lost between 5 and 15% of their body weight after a year.
Over the past 5 years only, we've had this new field of medication that really works. Patients are finally getting some relief from this medical condition that has plagued them for a long time.
It is gratifying to see widespread knowledge now surrounding these medicines. Of course, that comes with a concern.
In scientific circles, Dr. Daniel Drucker is a big deal. His work laid the foundation for this new field of diabetes and weight loss medications using the drug semaglutide.
It works through receptors on cells.
Semaglutide tricks the brain. It mimics a hormone that regulates hunger and food intake. It slows down the emptying of the stomach so people feel fuller longer, potentially leading to weight loss. But studies also showed side effects, including stomach pain, vomiting, and fatigue. The drug also increases the risk of suicidal behavior and thyroid cancer.
These are medicines. They're not harmless candies that people take, and medicines can have side effects and need to be used appropriately.
Doctors also note the weight only stays off as long as you keep taking the drug.
I can understand why people want to believe that there's a quick and easy solution, but it's not there.
Dr. Nav Prasad says fad diets also offer quick weight loss that doesn't last, and he warns diet drugs have come and gone.
We've seen it happen many times where there were these heralded wonder drugs that turned out not to work or to harm or kill people.
In France, a diet drug that started as a type 2 diabetes treatment is now being blamed for thousands of deaths due to heart valve problems. Other drugs have had similar problems. Some, including endocannabinoids, have led to psychiatric side effects, including suicides.
I got to the point where I was about 360 pounds. I was hypertensive, had severe sleep apnea.
Ian Patton works for Obesity Canada, which receives money from Novo Nordisk. He's been taking Ozempic for 2 years and has lost about 50 pounds. Patton says for him, the benefits of easing other obesity-related problems outweighs the risk from the drug. But
it's not something that someone should be taking to lose that 10 pounds before they go, for their wedding or their beach vacation. This is for people who are sick.
And Christine Burak will be following the next development for Ozempic, the results of a large trial on the effects of the drug on heart health for those with obesity. That data is expected in the coming weeks, and if it shows benefits, it could push demand for Ozempic to new heights. Next, a Canadian is heading to the X Games at only 10 years old.
You're about to see something special. This is Reese Nelson.
The young phenom impressing even the legends in our moment.
It's a little bit funny.
A triumphant farewell from Elton John this weekend. He says this performance in Stockholm marks the end of more than 50 years of touring. This current tour kicked off in 2018, and despite a pandemic interruption, more than 6 million fans got to see him take his final bows. And this is skateboarding legend Tony Hawk with his young protege, 10-year-old Reese Nelson, who grew up in Calgary and has been blowing judges away with her fearlessness. She took home gold in the best trick category at the Vert Alert event in Utah. Now she'll be one of the youngest skateboarders ever to compete in the X Games. Her winning trick is our moment.
This is about to happen. Okay, yes.
Wow! I got first in best trick and third in the regular contest, which means I'm going to the X Games.
Man, we're going to Sizzler.
It feels great because I worked really hard on the kickflip nose slide that I did for best trick. It's a really hard trick for me. I kickflip over half the channel and then I just nose slide the rest. My life would definitely not be the same without skating. I don't really remember not skating, but I've been told I started when I was 4 and it looked fun and I tried it and I loved it. Some tricks, it is really hard to trust myself that it's gonna work, but you just have to try it anyways.
The only secret that I found that works.
Tony Hawk knows like every trick, so if I ever need help, then he's the right person to ask. I'm going to the X Games and I'm gonna have fun and I'm just gonna do my best.
Give it up for Reese Nelson, everybody.
This is part of a periodic series on the moment, like with the young girl, basically, who graduated from university a couple of weeks ago. And now this one, where two things happen. First of all, you got to celebrate excellence at that age. And also it makes us think back to when we were, in this case, 10 years old. And I mean, I think I was just getting the training wheels off. Anyway, that is The National for July 9th. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good evening.